I was still thinking about that Superman stuff a little bit. You know, there's probably a good reason behind the fact my life didn't go perfectly in terms of relationships. I mean, whose does? You know, back when we were young, lots of people were just that we knew, sort of living in poverty. Our neighbours had ferrets, sort of poor people in units, and they'd have ferrets out the back in cages, and that was the going thing. We never did it, but you always know people that sort of they'd take up these sort of interests, breeding ferrets and stuff. It was just something they did. I suppose the equivalent in America is those sort of small hicks out in the country that pick up the roadkill and eat it. I don't know. But yeah, they're nice people. I always felt we should have had a better life than just sitting in a little unit and where we were. But Mum did her best. But yeah, it was all to do with our family life, not knowing our grandparents. Mum's mum was dead and Dad's father was unknown, and yeah, it just had an effect on everything, I think. But the weird thing is, even though I've gone through life stressed out and going through all these different experiences and going through that rave and through mental health and sort of come out the other side of that, and I'm not working fully now. I don't know if I ever will have a full-time job again, but maybe I will. I don't know. It's just how you apply yourself and if you can fit the job description, and fill the role. But yeah, I still feel like I've got that little bit of an advantage, like to get through all that and help other people. It's like I've gone above and beyond the call of duty to defend other people's lives without really being paid or without really being given any sort of reward or anything else, which is sort of what Superman does, I guess, without validating that behaviour. I mean, you can be rewarded for your efforts, but I suppose I just haven't been recognised by the right people. But yeah, I think in that, the reward for me is that my spirit and my soul has grown into a Superman, really. I'm not born on the planet Krypton, but I'm born here, but my spirit and my soul is the same as it would be if I was, Superman. My body hasn't been loved, so I don't look like Superman. I don't. And if it was love to that extent that my spirit, my soul is, I think I would look like Superman, but I might not quite have that much power to actually be able to fly right up in space, or I'd be the virgining sort of Superman into that role of just learning about all the different strengths and things I'd have, and because it's not like bang, you're born a Superman and then you discover superpowers. That's only because he's born on Krypton and flies back to Earth, Otherwise, on Krypton, he'd be a regular bloke. He might be able to fly a bit, but he'd still be, at the same level as the other ones. Because he goes back to Earth to more primitive people, he's, stands out. But to be a Superman on Earth and to develop that way into that superpower, I think you can just do it gradually and slowly. And I think over time, gradually it will happen. I'll probably go through changes and eventually I'll be, come out the other side a similar sort of character that Kal-El is in the movies, but just here on Earth, Eventually my spirit, my soul will adapt Earth to sort of suit myself. And won't be that much different, just everything will be a bit supercharged, I suppose, to sort of... and, I myself might be able to fly around a bit or... lift things a little bit, but it won't be like, stopping time, reversing the polarity of time or anything. And, I think that'll take a long time to be that sort of, have that ability. It's like Superman learns slowly over time, it's like I'm starting off. That's the journey of heaven, I think, for myself, is to come to terms with that growth, that spiritual growth, and that sort of soul that I have. And but yeah, my body hasn't been loved. It hasn't been accepted, loved, nurtured into that Superman that I should be. I should have developed into that. Well, in this lifetime, I think I should resemble more like a Superman rather than a regular bloke, that's a bit crumpled up and a bit tense and a bit tight and a bit. I should be really, blossoming. I just wonder what that Superman would look like, in the movies, they take substances like Spider-Man gets bitten by a spider, or some other one has a ring, the Green Lantern has a ring that transforms him, and after that he sort of has his power. And I think Spider-Man, in a way, gets bitten by the spider, then after a while he can transform sort of when he wants to, and it's sort of like it activates that superpower that's sort of then controlled by their own will. Superman can transform at will, once he reaches Earth from Krypton, and it goes through that transformation of planets, because he's got planetary power. So it makes sense, Spider-Man has spider powers, Green Lantern has those will, creative powers. The Flash, he probably goes through some kind of accident or something, a chemical spill or something, or maybe gets struck by lightning and he sort of becomes super fast or something. You can sort of transform that at will too, it's sort of everything I've been through. Before all this happened to me, I had a very limited idea of myself. I just thought I was this little wanker that sat home, pulled my dick, and went to school and did some art and tried to do some writing, and I didn't really know what to write or do art about. That's all my life was. I didn't have anything else really to occupy myself. Just played a bit of music, guitar, didn't really know how to write music. Very limited, really. Like, I had good ideas about life and I was very positive, but yeah, like most of the characters in these movies, I'm sort of a bit awkward with women. Once I get to know a girl, I'm very confident, but it's getting to know them, it's difficult. I have trouble attracting a woman or keeping one. Oh, not keeping one, but asking one out, sort of knowing who to ask, or sort of a bit nervous in that respect. So I suppose all the characters that sort of encompass that, and it's probably not a shortfall in mine. It's probably more my spirit and soul is so well developed that women are sort of apprehensive to actually approach me. I probably don't look the way I feel. I probably feel really nice, but I don't look fantastic. I look a bit crumpled up and a bit patchy and a bit battle weary. I don't look loved and nurtured and gorgeous and sexy and the way I should be. I feel I should be that. I feel like I am that, but I don't. When I look in the mirror, I see aspects of it, but I don't feel wholly embraced in all my chakras and all my whole body to feel, balanced in the person I really want to be. And yeah, like when I went to that rave, it was like it's like I wasn't afraid, but at the last minute I felt the cold wind, and it was like the spirits did not want me to be there. I took that Superman trip, and it was sort of like taking that potion, that spider venom. It sort of in that moment it transformed me into sort of enlightenment man or something. I went through a transformation. I don't think I lost or gained anything. I mean, I sort of lost my whole world, but it was still there. But I just felt like it had passed away from me or something. But it was still there. It was a very strange feeling. I thought initially I died, but that I was going to go to hell, and that's what I was scared of, that I had no way out. I'd gone through some kind of process and I couldn't get back to the world, and I was going to go to hell forever. So that's why I kept giving up and just lying in bed all day and hiding, and I couldn't deal with all the bad feelings, and the meds they put you on make you feel worse. And so it was just like this sort of compounding bottomless pit that I'd fallen into. I couldn't get out of, but eventually, I mean, my soulmate helped me out a bit, and her family and her mum, and it got me back sort of. And it was actually Duffy, my dog that went missing. He got run over by a car, and it was him going missing that got me out of the house, and so it was him that sort of got me on the road again, my little dog. And, yeah, maybe he's come back, maybe he's trigger now, sort of looking after me. I don't know, but how dogs move on, but yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I look tired, don't I? I've had a couple of whiskeys. I feel a bit tired. Tiredness is funny though. I'm not tired. It's just everything's compressed into this ball of clay, and I should be this beautiful big sculpture. I'd love to just find that love sort of avenue, that lover's lane, that lover's lane. Of all those beautiful women to take care of me, or someone, a wife that sort of knows what I want out of life, can provide for me and give me what I want or what I need to feel 100% my beautiful self, it's not a case of getting younger, it's a case of just growing into the person I want to be, this beautiful big Superman of some sort. It might mean I just look like this sort of Ken doll or something, but sort of more of a big manly Ken doll, a bit like a Street Fighter or something. I don't know, but I suppose Ken might be able to transform into that as well at some point. But yeah, what's the catalyst? I've sort of been through that rave thing, and now I've sort of gone to heaven. I've started a new life, and now what's the catalyst for this change? Is it just getting married, falling in love, having my kids? Will that be the change? Is it just a normal sort of thing? But I do feel like growing up, I did feel different than other kids. I felt like I was a bit of a doting father over everyone. I felt a responsibility to everyone to keep everyone happy, and sort of clowned around trying to keep everyone in check and everyone happy, and making sure everyone was accounted for and everything was at peace and everything was okay everywhere. I felt like I was running on my feet off trying to entertain everyone just to keep everyone happy. I don't know if I achieved that all the time. Maybe I did, but trying to fill that space that I was in, that I really needed a girlfriend to really, fill that space properly. I didn't quite get my girlfriend I needed at school, but yeah, we had a lot of friends that made up for it. But yeah, I was always running around a bit crazy, and sort of led on to uni. Didn't have a girlfriend, so I was sort of running around trying to get my work done, running from school to school. I probably looked like a dickhead to anyone looking on. Like, what is he doing running around so much? Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, just when I was younger though, I just would never expect this whole thing to happen to me. It's like, I suppose, Peter Parker would never expect to get bitten by a spider and turn into a Spider-Man. It just blows your mind how this thing can happen to you, and it's changed me into sort of a, before I wasn't a very, not really considerate or something. I was just more into what I was doing. I was considerate to people I knew, and I was nice, but I was more just self-centered, just doing what I wanted to do, like getting my schoolwork done, going home, playing my guitar, and now I'm more worldly conscious of people's feelings and stuff going on, and it's probably just part of growing up, but I almost feel like I know everything. It's sort of like without really knowing it, I'm innocent, naive, and I'm I'm sort of ignorant in some respect, but underlying all that is the full knowledge of the world, like, so it's sort of like comes and goes. I get little inspirations sort of come through, and yeah. But yeah, I just felt like just expressing that tonight, that I'm sort of underneath a Superman already. I'm Superman in spirit and soul, but my body hasn't really been nurtured and loved into that Superman I'd like to be. But it could just mean I end up looking a bit like that Jesus figure, walk around with the hair and the big white gown, with holding children's hands, walking through the garden. It's could be what the sort of, if I did find that sort of love, that I'd end up sort of like that, just a public figure of sort of this fatherly sort of nurturer, taking care of the animals and nature and human beings. And yeah, I know that's not broadly accepted by people or churches, or they want to believe Jesus is up in heaven and he's not here on earth. But I dispute that. I think he's been here all along in different lifetimes. He's only just gone to heaven now. Like, it's taken him that long to pave the way to get to that point, to create all this art and all this invention and all these machines, and he's helped as much as he can to invent all this stuff, to create the world and the heaven and everything else he needed to dream the heavenly world up. So he hasn't done it alone, but he's been the catalyst for that spirit to be the power to create all that. It's sort of my spirit. I see the evidence, so I don't really question it anymore. Like, but I know to most people it's not important. That's fair enough. It's not daily life. Oh, gee, where's Jesus? Or I like the idea of moving on from all that as soon as I can, but it would be nice to revisit and just feel that Superman that I'd like to be. Whatever guise or whatever appearance or manifestation that sort of comes out in, like, I don't think there's anything to be feared. It's like fearing your own dad around the house. He's a dominating figure and he knows best, but, in the end he cares for you, he loves you, and you don't need to worry. He's not going to, punish you too badly, just smack you on the ass and tell you to go clean your room or something, So, I suppose just, it's just the way I treat all that is do what I do, not what I say, sort of thing more. It's like just being a good influence, just by living your life the best way you can, is just influencing others in a positive way. That's the way I treat the whole discipline sort of side of being a Superman. Is you don't have to be me, but just follow the inspiration that I might give out, or what's the word I'm trying to think of? Lead by the example, follow the example that I might lead by. That it's good to get out, it's good to study, it's good to work, it's good to if you can't, that's fine. You can't do it. But don't feel bad about it. Just do what you can in your life to be happy, and whatever that is. But yeah, my whole idea of discipline, or disciplining the world, or treating the world in terms of getting what I want out of it, is just by leading by example. So if I make my house tidy and you see, oh, just got a nice tidy house, think, oh, make my house tidy. It seems to make sense. Like, not saying mine's spotless. There's be more tidy houses than mine around, but just an example. I mean, some people love a messy house, but I've always liked a tidy house. Not too overly cluttered, or You know what I mean? You know, if he's driving well on the road, you know, it's like, oh, he's driving well. I'll just be safe on the road. I don't have to fuck around running people off the road, you know, running into trees and acting like a wanker, you know. I suppose if that's what you are, that's what you are. But um, we're all, you know, at the stages we're at, and you know, there's things I'm not that good at. I'm not that good at finding a partner. It's probably because my spirit, my soul's bigger than my body looks like. You know, like I've got a bigger soul and spirit than my body seems like it has. You know, like probably a lot of personality. It just hasn't shone through. Um, you know, in my appearance, because I haven't had that love experience yet of opening my heart to the world and my wife and my kids and all that. I think with most people it doesn't do much, but with me, you'd see a change, you'd see a transformation. You know, you'd see sort of a different side of me that I haven't been able to find yet. And I think, God, if all that tension in my body just eased up instead of that constant churning of tension, desire, and wanting to feel more like myself, it's just endless sort of grief you suffer through not feeling genuine, not feeling, you know, archetypal, what you really want to be, you know. Always feel a bit half yourself, you know. You're sort of suffering a bit all the time over different things, and really you should be just embracing and loving the experience, you know. Yeah, and it's just not having a partner, really. Someone to love you at the end of the day or start of the day or whatever. uh, and, you know, once you look better, people like you more. They warm to you and they see you were genuine. They understand the whole time you were telling the truth. You were just trying to get your message out there. And they're probably more accepting and seeing there is no danger in loving someone. It's just, you know, providing that dream that the impossible could be possible. You know, it's like trying to understand the universe, which is this impossible shape to understand. Maybe one day we can understand it. You know, how do you step out of the universe? Maybe you create another one and look back on the universe that was, and maybe make a twin or something, and see the shape of the universe. It's interesting. Yeah, I see it. It's not a donut. Some people probably think it's like the world twisting in on itself and coming back around or something. That's how it's eternal, but it's not really like that. It's a funny shape. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it really. The whole universe. There's no. It's sort of not lacking anything. It's got everything there. You know. It's. How do you explain it? I don't really want to explain it on YouTube to no one. You know, I want to explain it to my wife or my kids or something in person and write a book or something. You know, the shape of the universe. You know, hasn't been explained yet. It's impossible to understand. I suppose it's only someone like myself could actually draw a picture of it. You know, it has no space around it. It's unending sort of story that turns around and finds itself while it's losing itself or something. Yeah, it's sort of being lost and found. It's a funny shape. Lost and found. Yeah, it's funny. It's like falling, but as it's falling, it's rising. It's How do you explain that to someone that can't see it? You know, I've filled that space now, that universe. It's a lot of effort, but once you get a few suns under your belt, you just fill the whole rest up. You know, it doesn't take much once you have that power, that sun power. You get a few suns, you get a starburst, and then before you know it, you're floating. Really, you know, in the middle of yourself. It's like those few moments I sort of felt all that whatever was affecting me around here, there's something either upstairs or some sort of satellite or something was on me, and it sort of stopped for a moment. I felt buoyant. I felt like I could just float it off the balcony, but I sort of wasn't ready in my physical body to do that. You have to have a certain level of trust or something. It's like a bird falling out of its nest for the first time, learning to fly. It can hit the ground and die. You got to be careful what you're doing. It's not just a case of your spirit, flying you out a window or there's no danger of me jumping off a ledge. It's not like I'm going to be stupid about it, but my physical body is definitely not up to the rigors of flying. It has to be well grown into the actual shape of my spirit and my soul, which is even more of a mystery. Really, the shape of that, how it relates to your body, is it's fascinating. Really, what your soul is, how big it is, and how your body has to grow into that to fly. It's like stretching a funny shaped lacquer band around a big balloon. The balloon's a soul, and this little lacquer band has to fill that soul to fly. And I'm still this crumpled little lacquer band at the bottom, just unable to fly. Really, unable to find that boost, that power to lift my feet off the ground. But yeah, like I say, there's no danger in me doing it. I'm just I like to think of the possibilities rather than the obstacles. What is possible rather than what's not possible. I like to think anything really is if you believe in it. So yeah, don't go jumping off buildings thinking you're Superman, people, because you'll just get hurt. It's not how it's done. You don't jump off things to be Superman. One day you just in your house, your feet just rise off the floor, and you go, "Whoa, that's cool." The inspiration sends you higher and higher, and that's how it works. Got to crawl before you can walk. You got to float before you can fly. It's you got to learn these things slowly if it does happen. I'd love to just meet someone, a beautiful woman that can love me and have my children and just share the experience, and I can share it with her. This feeling, this superpower, I can share it with someone who loves me, and it doesn't have to be a lonely experience. Or to me, sharing is the whole reason why you exist, is to share what you have with other people. So I don't like people that steal. I think it's just pointless. Why steal from someone? They'll just take it back, and you'll miss out on. It gives them the right to take back more than what you've stolen, because you've actually violated them and they haven't done anything to you. So you've given them the right to take things from you because you've set that as your rule. So whereas that person you've stolen from doesn't have that rule. So you've violated yourself and someone else. They've taken it back and you've lost everything. So I don't know why people steal. It doesn't make sense to me. I see it time and time again. People miss out on everything because they try and take from other people what's not theirs. I know it's just sheer desperation. To have what's not yours. It's exciting or whatever else. But yeah, it's just best just to love what you have and what you deserve. Really. Oh gosh, half an hour. That's long, isn't it? 29 minutes. Sorry for the long one again. I was just listening to a bit of music on Spotify. It got me thinking about all that superpower stuff again. Yeah, I'd love to feel like my Superman inside, in the flesh. But however that comes about, if it ever does, it's best to be married to find all that, to have someone to love you and give you what you need to get you where you need to be. It's what it's all about, and you're helping them as well perceive and achieve their dreams. So it might be something different, but superpower can help all people's dreams come true. It's it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, half an hour. Good night.